wasn't yours. I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back to who I was before. I like me better, I like me better.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I feel like the last, brand talk video that I uploaded, I was mentioning something like, was it like this years ago? Like, this was not the energy that, at least it doesn't feel that way because things are more advanced now, right? Like, this is not, being a consumer and public opinion of brands in 2005 because we didn't have the technology that we do now. We didn't have, being able to go on someone's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and see that this brand is doing that or this influencer didn't exist at that time, right? So it feels like you didn't know that there was this type of drama and this many ways that brands were doing underhanded things. Because nowadays it seems like every other day there is something new. I have not one, not two, not three, but 4 different brands and or celebrities who are in a little bit of hot water right now. So if you guys want to know more, let's go. So like I said, consumers are not playing with y'all, okay? This is not the public that is unaware and is going to let you get away with stuff, especially influencers slash celebrities, because like people already don't like y'all. And people already are very vocal about how when you have that type of influence that influences people to spend their money, you need to use it wisely and you need to use it legally, right? And as far as brands, they have the same idea of that, but I feel like we also already know brands are going to do whatever brands can do to, cut corners or just remain a brand that is in business. That's, they say the rich get richer by doing things only the rich can do, wink, wink. So they're definitely on the lookout and they will definitely call you out. They will definitely do something about it nowadays when they do catch you doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, right? And this video stems from me being tagged in a TikTok video yesterday, which I'll get to that brand later. But I did want to talk about the celebrity influencer one first because, well, and it is Kim Kardashian. If you have heard about cryptocurrency, it was supposed to be like, the next, like the future of money and how people were going to be using finance in the future. I've definitely seen that the talk of investing in cryptocurrency has died down recently, but especially like 2020, it was during the quarantine, during the pandemic, it was like if you weren't investing in cryptocurrency, like you're 5 years behind. You're not thinking smart with your money. And I feel like a lot of people also did get involved with it because it was a time where people were being laid off, people couldn't go to work, so they were looking like, what do I do as far as making income, right? But basically cryptocurrency, it's, at least to me, I've only dabbled in it a little bit. It's almost like stocks. You know how you buy stock in Nike or you buy stock in Victoria's Secret and you're investing your money because you're hoping there will be a return for you if you ever do sell your stock in the company. It's the same thing with cryptocurrency where you're investing in this currency and you're hoping that like it'll rise in the market and you'll get a return on your investment, right? So you might know more or at least recognize more what I'm talking about if I say like Bitcoin or Dogecoin, those coins, right? One of them had reached out to Kim Kardashian and basically they offered to pay her $250,000 if she would post about their specific coin. I think it was Ethereum. I think so. The problem was she didn't disclose the fact that she was posting it because she was being paid for it. And if you have a sponsored post by a brand, per the FTC, you have to disclose the fact that you are being paid to talk about it, right? Well, she didn't do that. So it came out somehow that, this was an undisclosed sponsorship and she just settled a lawsuit for it where she had to pay $1.26 million. Like, you gotta think about that. Now, granted, for her, that's probably a couple Instagram posts. She is a billionaire at this point, so that's probably her having to post, like 4 Instagram pictures, 5 Instagram pictures, and she gets her money back. But like to us, right, like losing $1 million, over $1 million, because she was paid $250,000. So you lost over $1 million just to get $250,000. Was it worth it? Was it worth it when you think about it? Because let's keep it a buck here. Not enough people care about, a influencer or a celebrity that they follow doing sponsored content that is going to be that hurtful to you to disclose it, right? But not enough people care. If you're someone who has proven to your audience that they can trust the things that you are doing sponsored content on, because a lot of people, they could not sell you a pot to piss in because they have shown that they will do a sponsorship for anything. You know, they'll do a sponsorship for a toupee and they have a full head of hair. Like it's like they don't have that credibility. But I mean, even that one influencer, that beauty influencer that people keep saying, like, why does anyone buy anything that she recommends? Because she's proven time and time again that she can't be trusted. Even she can still sell quite a few people any product that she recommends, right? So to an extent, if you've proven that you can't be credible with some of the stuff that you do sponsored content for, I can see why you don't want to disclose the fact that it's sponsored content. But the consequences that come from not disclosing it are not worth not disclosing it. So like I said, for her, is it probably a big deal for her? Probably not. She'll make that money back in her sleep, right? But, you know, like, if you ever want to have a conversation with someone where you're like, was it worth it? Was it like, was the $250 worth the 1.26? And not just that, but now that also, it hurts your credibility because people know that you'll do undisclosed sponsorships, but people already knew that. Like, that's not a first time problem for her or her family. I remember not long ago, like, the whole family, I think the FTC gave them like 24 hours or something like that to disclose all the undisclosed sponsorships that they had on their Instagram account. So I mean, like, people already knew that, and they're still an influential family. So it's like, you going out of your way to not disclose it is just like I'm not going to. I don't feel like I have to. I don't want to, and I can still get away with it. So I'm going to continue because there's literally no reason. You've already shown that even if you don't, you still have enough influence that you're going to convince people to do or buy the stuff that you talk about. So like, what is the point? Just disclose, especially the type of sponsorship that it was. I feel like, you know, when it like makeup, buying products, clothing, stuff like that, it's still wrong. But especially if you get into just how much people are investing in this type, like when people are investing money in stocks and this cryptocurrency, the type of money that they're investing to actually see a return, it's like down payments on houses. Like, I saw one guy, you know, today it was $15,000, it was $30,000. I took out a loan so that I can invest this much. Like, that is a crazy amount of money to be putting into something. Maybe it's just like a morality thing in my head, but like, knowing that I am trying to influence people to invest that level of their life savings, their money, the least I can do is disclose the fact that I'm doing it, in my mind. But hey. And then if you guys remember last week or the week before or something like that, I did do a video on Boohoo and Kourtney Kardashian. And while I was looking into that issue, I also saw that they also had a class action lawsuit. And just to get the numbers specifically. So in Boohoo's case, they agreed to pay $4.75 million to resolve their class action lawsuits. According to 3 class action lawsuits, because you know Boohoo owns Nasty Gal, Pretty Little Thing, a couple other brands, something like that. According to 3 class action lawsuits against the fashion companies, the reference prices were not original, regular, retail, or former prices. In reality, the website's reference prices were intentionally inflated in order to dupe customers into thinking they were getting a good deal, the plaintiffs claim. So if you've ever seen before, and I've noticed, Ego Shoes has done this before. I was on their website and I saw a pair of boots, and let's say they were like $50, right? I was like, cute. I don't know if they're like $50, cute. But so I screenshot it and I saved it to my like things to buy folder in my phone. And a couple weeks later, I saw that Ego was having a sale on shoes. I was like, oh, maybe those boots are on sale. So I went to go look the boots up. And the boots that I had seen, like I said, when I first saw them, let's say they were $50, now they were on sale for like $49.99 or $39.99, and it said the original price was $80. And I was like, what do you mean the original price was $80? I just saw the original price was $50. And myself working in retail stores before, that wasn't new to me. I've seen brands do that where they intentionally raise prices of items just so that they can then put the items on sale for the price that like pretty close to its original price, so that you, like I said, so you think, oh, you know, it was $80, now it's $50. Okay, not that bad. Let me go ahead and get it. What's confusing me here with this wording is that they said that the reference prices, so the prices that it said were the original prices, were not original, were not regular, they're not retail or former prices. So I'm like, so what does that mean? Because like I said, I've seen where they raise the prices first and then they have a sale to where they put the price on the original price of it. So like with this wording, are they saying like they just were throwing out numbers? Like there was no time where the original price was that price? Is that what they're suggesting? But either way, I don't like when brands do that. I don't like that. Because like, again, you're trying to make it seem like it's a deal. You're trying to make it seem like it's more affordable. And also, fast fashion brands are starting to get besides themselves, okay? They're all starting to think that like this is Balenciaga, especially Zara. Zara really needs to relax, okay? With the 100, 200, like, please. But yes, they did agree to spend 4.75 million to resolve that. And, you know, if you're involved in a class action lawsuit, I think they either like reach out to you or you can opt in to participate. I mean, you only end up getting like $30, $40, $50, whatever, but at least it's supposed to teach the brand a lesson, right? And in that case, yeah, that's not a good look, because it is pretty much like you duping your consumers. I saw people who were talking about it and they're like, all brands do that. And it's like, okay, does that mean it's okay to do? And speaking of fast fashion, I feel like you should not be surprised to know that Fashion Nova also settled a class action lawsuit this year. Fashion Nova is required to pay $4.2 million to settle Federal Trade Commission allegations that the company blocked negative reviews of its products from being posted to its website. If you've ever shopped Fashion Nova, or just, you know, if you shop online in general, they'll allow you to leave reviews on the clothing that you are purchasing. So Fashion Nova was accused, and I guess they settled to pay. Actually, I think they're ones who were like, we're settling, but the settlement does not admit liability. I think that was them. Basically, if you tried to leave negative reviews on their website, they weren't allowing the reviews to post. And I feel like we can tell, I mean, like, it's obvious why that is not a good thing. That like, it's that type of sketchy stuff. Like, if the stuff speaks for itself, it speaks for itself. And if it's not speaking for itself, like, you gotta step, oh, I almost said, you gotta step your cookies up. Okay, I almost said something else. Find better vendors for the stuff that you want to put on your website if you don't want to have people leaving negative reviews. And it's just not realistic. Like, no one is going to love every article of clothing that they buy. They should be able to express that. Now, I have seen reviews where I'm like, how does this review have anything to do with the actual product, especially on Sephora? Like, if you look at I don't know, like a lipstick review on Sephora, and they're like, I don't like this lipstick because it didn't look good on me, so I'm only giving it 1 star. Like, how is that? Like, you picked the color. How is that the actual product's fault? So I understand like those type of reviews, but even then, you see how I still see that on Sephora's website. So that was not a good look for them, and I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised to learn that was not their first class action lawsuit. The first one, in April 2020, Fashion Nova agreed to pay $9.3 million to settle FTC allegations that the company failed to notify customers and give them a chance to cancel their orders when merchandise was not shipped in a timely manner, and that the company illegally used gift cards to refund customers for unshipped merchandise. That is probably the main reason I stopped shopping with Fashion Nova years ago. I want to say this is like 2015, 16, somewhere around there, where like the brand really popped off. I was shopping there like every week, but something kept happening that kept annoying me to the point where I'm like, I don't want to shop here anymore. So you would buy things on the website and it wouldn't be in stock. It wouldn't be available, and they don't let you know that. Actually, they don't let you know that. They just send what they do have in stock, and then you get the order and you're like, I'm missing part of my order. So you have to go to them and say like, where's the rest of my order? And that's when they let you know, oh, it was out of stock. We didn't have it to send you. So rationally, you would be like, okay, so give me my money back. And they wouldn't. They weren't giving refunds. Even if you did receive items and you realized that you just didn't want them, and you wanted to like send it back, get a refund, stuff like that, they would not give refunds. They were giving you store credit. Now I do know there are some places that they just don't give refunds, but especially on the me paying for something and not receiving it and I can't get my money back, I have to be given store credit. Who said I wanted anything else from your company? Like, I wanted the thing that I paid for. If you don't have that, give my money back. I should have that option, not I only get store credit. So there was a class action lawsuit. As you see, they had to pay like $9.3 million. But again, like, when you divide that up between all the people they've done that to, it's not really coming out to much. So there was that with Fashion Nova. And then yesterday I got tagged in, like I said, the TikTok, and that was about Huda Beauty. I was a little surprised by that. Basically, what is going on with Huda Beauty? So Huda Beauty has settled this class action lawsuit for $1.93 million to resolve the claims and $1.2 million in legal fees for the plaintiffs. The girl who had posted the TikTok basically said that she was checking her bank account and she saw a random deposit and it said like it was a merchant, and she looked into it and basically she received part of this settlement for the class action lawsuit from Huda Beauty because it came out that they were using well, at least how it's described here, it says the Dubai-based makeup brand used illegal ingredients in its Neon Obsessions palettes. The brand, founded by Huda, was accused of using pigments banned for use around the eye area by the Food and Drug Administration. The U.S. lawsuit claimed that Huda Beauty concealed the prohibited ingredients to consumers by hiding warning labels, including not intended for the eye area, behind outer packaging. So if you are not new to makeup products, then you know that there is something called pressed pigments, and it's not funny, but it's interesting just to notice just how different communities can be. Because ooh, hold on, if you talk about the use of pressed pigments on YouTube, it's not gonna really cause up that much of a stir because we've already been through that years ago when we found out, like, I mean, technically, like, at least per the FDA, you're not supposed to use pressed pigments on the eye. But on TikTok, I was reading the comments, people like, brands are so sketchy. How are they selling stuff that's not safe to use on the eye? Where a whole bunch of people on, you know, Instagram and YouTube are like, I don't care. Even myself, like, would that stop me from buying something because I saw it had pressed pigments in it? No, it wouldn't. Because I'm going into it knowing that there's a chance it says you're not supposed to use pressed pigments on the eye. And if you don't know why, because the FDA has found that pressed pigments can irritate the eye and they can also cause staining. I don't know if you guys remember when the James Charles palette launched, there was a girl who went viral because she had used a pink or red eyeshadow on her eye and it stained her eye, and she went viral for the video that she made. Also, I think the first Jaclyn Hill Morphe, the big one, eyeshadow palette had pressed pigments in it, and people also talked about why does the palette say that that's not safe for the eye, blah, 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 blah. So brands do use pressed pigments, but they're supposed to disclose the fact that it has pressed pigments in it, and like the article said, they're supposed to acknowledge that it's not safe for use around the eye, right? So the issue with Huda Beauty is that she disclosed that, but she disclosed that, so you know the back of the eyeshadow palette has like the information, the ingredients, all that stuff, right? To find where she disclosed that on the palette, like, you would literally have to open up the actual packaging of the palette. Like, so who is doing that? Come on now. Who is, you know, playing Inspector Gadget with their makeup products that they're opening up products and packaging to find hidden information? Like, the girl in the video literally got tweezers so she could dismantle the eyeshadow palette, and that's where you would find that information. And that is where, you know, she messed up on this situation, because like I said, a whole bunch of people do not care about using pressed pigments on the eye, but they are entitled to know that information, and they're entitled to know that information easily. They should not have to think about going to look for it, and even if they did want to go look for it, they should not have to think, I have to pretty much take this product that I bought apart to find that information. So in that case, that is where she went wrong here, because like I said, a lot of people, they don't care about the whole idea of pressed pigment. Also because I think that whole not being able to use pressed pigment things is like an American thing. I think, like, it's not approved by the FDA. I think, don't quote me, but I think it's allowed in other countries. And seeing as how she is a Dubai-based makeup company, I could see that, you know, blurring the lines there. But when your competitors do it, like the other brands in the same industry do it and they just simply disclose that. Like literally just like, you see how easy a lot of this is if like brands just did things like correct, like just, you know what you're supposed to do. So why not just do it? Why not save yourself this headache of lawsuits and bad press and then turning off consumers when the stuff is just so easy to do? Like I literally just said I would still buy a palette. And mind you, going into this, when I saw it, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know that Huda's palettes have pressed pigments in them. Like I don't think that was the only one that had pressed pigments. Would that stop me from buying a palette in the future that I saw that no, I don't care. So like, why are you making this difficult for yourself? And it's that it's like like I was saying about the whole Kim Kardashian thing, why not just disclose that when you know people are going to be interested in stuff that you promote regardless? And I feel like it comes down to it has to be like a pride and ego, or just like a defiant thing. Like I just don't want to. I don't really have a valid reason why I don't want to, but I just don't want to because it's almost like I don't want people telling me what I can and can't do. That's kind of what it's giving, because like, what other reason do you have for not doing some of this stuff? Like, what is the reason? Like I said, if you've already, you know, shown that you can be called out before for not doing certain things, not disclosing things, but you can still be a very influential person around the world, what is stopping you from just doing things the right way that you're supposed to do them? In this case, if you know that plenty of people do not care about using pressed pigments, and all you got to do is disclose that on your merchandise and whatnot, like, what is stopping you from doing that? Same thing with Fashion Nova. I can see something that has a bad review, and like I made the Sephora reference, maybe that review doesn't resonate with me. Now, if it's got like 50 negative reviews, I could see why you don't want 50 negative reviews up there. But will I buy something that still has negative reviews? Yes, I will. Everyone's experience is different. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, it could be so easy for you. And I don't, let me know in the comments down below, like, what you think it is. Because you gotta think, these are companies, corporations, even Kim herself, like they have teams, and these are people, you know, they have these higher degrees, they have all these qualifications that make them qualified for the job, and it's like, you can't put all those brains together to realize that we don't have to do this because this is going to get us in trouble. Like, so what is it that makes y'all still do it? Let me know in the comments down below what you think the answer is to that question. But yeah, long story short, these people are not playing with y'all. You are not going to dupe them so easily. You might get away with it for a little while.